Number 54 in the Radiance range is Shinobi Revenge, part 2 in this series, and I was so happy to see that this was a straight continuation from the first movie. It's not a standalone piece, although it does have its own elements. You have to have had knowledge of the first one going into this, which was great because I loved the characters and the situations, and I wasn't expecting this to be a straight continuation. Starting off right where we finished the first movie, we move into this world of Ishikawa as he starts to kind of settle down with his family units, and very early on you realise that this is a very different animal than the first one. It's bleaker, it's darker, it feels more downbeat, and it slowly just gets more nihilistic as it goes on. And it's an interesting middle part to what should be an interesting trilogy of films, creating what I'm expecting to be a grand story. Nobunaga, the warlord, is still taking over the country. He is settling himself in as the leader, and it's not really sitting well. And one of the facets of these movies that I love is all the political intrigue that goes on. When you see the ninjas, they have a mission. There is a specific thing they are after. Ishikawa knows exactly what he wants to do. But when you're dealing with these men, these politicians who are all vying for power, who are all backstabbing and turning on each other, it becomes a real boiling pot of intrigue as you watch these guys go about their duplicitous ways. And I love this aspect of the film. Like I said, this is an incredibly dark movie, and it starts off in such an interesting way because we've got Ishikawa, he's got his wife, we've got his son. Everything is just sitting perfect for them. They're planning their future. Now, of course, everything's not going to be as easy as that, and in one horrific sequence we see him lose his son. After that, all bets are off. Ishikawa is fueled by vengeance and things that have gone on, and is looking for revenge all the way through this film. And it may always be Nobunaga, the warlord, who is the focus of that vengeance. But what I like about this one is he becomes, or the villain of the piece can change throughout this movie, and it does so in a very natural manner because you have all of this political intrigue and backstabbing that's going on. People are making plots to overthrow the current power and take the mantle from themselves, and it does happen midway through this movie, but in such a way that it still gives our character someone to really rally against, someone to try and get revenge against. And one of the things I really liked about this one, again, was the action set pieces. They're much more violent and vicious, and they feel as if there's more weight to them in this one. And I loved the first movie. I feel as this one is just as strong as that, as we're watching this character really kind of lose everything that made him who he was and become steadfast on one thing: to kill someone. And that is the driving force in his life, and almost everything else is immaterial at that point. There are still relationships that are built throughout this that are fun, that are engaging, that I love spending time with. For the most part, you're just seeing horrible people do horrible things, knowing at some point our hero must get revenge, has to win out or do something, which kind of is the way I was expecting it, because it felt as if that's the direction it was heading. But there are some really bold choices, and the movie ends in such a downer that I instantly had to start watching the third part because I needed to know what the hell was going on with this one. It's such a thrilling film that I feel doesn't start as strong as Shinobi no Moro 1, but it builds into it, and it really just levels up, I feel, as it goes through it. That really dark tone at the heart of this one is the real driving force, and it gives you a really solid middle section for this film. I'd love to know your thoughts on Shinobi no Moro 2, Vengeance or Revenge, whatever you call it. Let me know in the comment box below your thoughts on this one. I need to talk about part 3. I've got more content up here if you want to see more of my stuff. In the description box are links to Patreon, membership program, and manvfilm.com. All ways in which you can support me. Let's move on to part 3 in a second, but hey, buy this set.